Welcome to your 4 to 5. I'm Tahay Chamois alongside Maddie Gardner and Ben Smart. We are here to inform you, make you feel connected, and feel a part of this world as it changes every day.
Yeah, the easiest way to stay connected with us is to join our live Facebook conversation on the WFMY News 2 page. Drop us a comment down there if you're watching on that page and use our hashtag 4 to 5. But first, let's get you caught up on some headlines with the 4 to 5 roundup. Today, President Donald Trump signed an executive order about police reform. The measure orders departments to adopt higher professional standards and better policing practices. It also establishes a database to track officers with a history of excessive use of force. Meantime, both Senate Republicans and Democrats are working on police reform legislation as well. A big announcement in the fight against the coronavirus. Researchers in England say they found a drug to help those with severe cases of COVID-19. It's a commonly used and cheap steroid called dexamethasone. The drug works by putting the brakes on the immune system, which goes into overdrive in severe COVID cases. Doctors say the drug has reduced deaths by 1/3, but it's still not a vaccine.
Just remember, this drug doesn't stop you catching the disease. It doesn't stop you going into hospital with the disease.
The coronavirus pandemic forced organizers to cancel this year's John Coltrane International Jazz and Blues Festival. The annual event was supposed to happen later this September in High Point. Organizers say social distancing would not allow them to hold the festival on the scale they had hoped. The 10th anniversary festival will happen September 2021. Well, tonight, the Greensboro City Council will consider extra funds for businesses damaged during a night of protest last month. Many business owners say their insurance plans do not cover damage caused by protests or riots, so they need this extra money to replace damage to their buildings like windows. Greensboro police say more than 100 businesses were damaged or robbed last month.
Well, Tim, my calendar says June 16th, but I gotta be honest, this weather makes it seem like October 16th. What is going on with that radar?
Maddie, it's really tough. And you know, yesterday we set a record for coolest day. Today we're going to also, I think, set a record for coolest June 16th. We've been in the 50s all day long. It's only 57 right now, and that is extremely rare for June. Of course, it's because of all the clouds and all of the rain and cool air moving in from the north. That's the perfect storm to get that weather like this, which doesn't happen too often in the middle of June. There are your temperatures uniform across the area. Everybody's in the same boat there. Looking at the radar, though, it's actually quite a different story. So it depends on where you are as to how much rain you're seeing. Right now, the heaviest action is out to the west. So as I zoom into Guilford County, Alamance, Rockingham, Randolph, yes, there is rain, but it's sporadic. It's not constant, and it's not too heavy either. But the farther south and west you go, right now at least, that's where the heaviest action is. From Lexington to Mocksville and over to Salisbury, that's where we're seeing a lot of that heavier bursts of rain at this time. Zooming out, it's the same setup as yesterday. We have this low pressure area swirling over the Carolinas, bringing moisture from the ocean. The same thing that we saw for a full week back in May. It's happening again. The rain totals won't be quite as high this time. Some areas have already picked up over an inch of rain. I think an additional 1 to 3 inches is possible as we go through the rest of the week. Now, constant rain is pretty much with us through about midday on Wednesday, but after that, we should start to get some breaks, at least in the action. For the next 12 hours, though, what you see is what you get. It's in the 50s, it's cold, it's wet. Now, for tomorrow, steady rain for the most part through the midday, and then some breaks and maybe even some peaks of sun. For the afternoon, coming up, we'll dive more into the 7-day forecast and look at what the weekend looks like.
All right, now we want to get to our question of the day. Where do you think masks should be required? Head over to WFMY.com/vote now to make your vote count. We ask this because Governor Roy Cooper is considering a mandatory mask requirement. If he does, North Carolina would join a handful of states that are also requiring everyone to wear masks. This map breaks it down for you. States in dark teal have a statewide requirement to wear a face mask, while those in the lighter blue shade just have some cities and counties that require masks.
New coaching information this afternoon. North Carolina A&T basketball coach Jay Joyner officially resigned. Joyner was suspended back in December. School officials have not released any details about what led to his suspension. Joyner was named head coach back in 2016. The school released a statement saying they wish him all the best going forward. Since his suspension, Will Jones has led the team as the interim coach. No word on when a permanent coach will be named at this time. The coronavirus pandemic has drastically changed the sports world. While some leagues are making plans to play without fans, others may not play at all. Major League Baseball had high hopes games would resume this summer. But team owners and the Players Union have run into negotiation challenges. Commissioner Rob Manfred says he now believes there's a chance the season may not happen at all. The NBA also had plans to resume its season at Orlando's Disney campus. Now it's possible some players may choose to skip, citing concerns the sport could distract from the current movement against social injustices. Aces in front of empty bleachers. One of the largest tennis tournaments will be played in New York, but without fans. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo said in an update this morning, the U.S. Open tournament will happen in Queens late August. In addition to no fans, players and coaches will undergo robust coronavirus testing. There will also be dedicated housing and transportation for players.
So if sports resume in the fall, what are they going to look like? UNC Chapel Hill Athletics Director Bubba Cunningham told 60 Minutes that they're looking at a couple of different options at Carolina, including social distancing in the stands and redoing the lines for concessions and ticketing, things of that nature. But I asked you on my Facebook page, what do you think sporting events are going to look like during a pandemic? You responded. James Dolwick said if people look at history, there were college football games in 1918 during the Spanish flu pandemic. Fans wore masks and some social distancing. He went on to say, I bet you don't mention this at 4 p.m. Mr. Dolwick, I hope you're watching. Gary Biggs said, let them play, let the fans that don't want to go, go, and the ones that don't stay home have some faith. Lauren Randall said pro sports should all be canceled to start with. All are non-essential and endanger any fans that might attend. College sports too, high school and junior high sports, yes. And Karma Toller, Courier, said she thinks that they will happen with limited capacity. Continue to weigh in right now. We are chatting back with you on our Facebook stream.
A display of unity through art coming to the Triad. You've seen those art installations on the streets of Charlotte and Winston-Salem. Well, now Greensboro is getting its own street mural. We talk with the artist behind the message next. Art is playing a critical role in sparking conversations about race in America. The artwork is also documenting this re-energized call for justice.
Yeah, and we're seeing artists joining together to paint murals supporting the effort across the nation, like the one you're seeing here in Charlotte. This week, talented triad artists are collaborating on a street mural in Greensboro. Artist Philip Marsh tells us the mural will say "One Love" and will cover parts of Davie near LeBauer Park. The goal is to have it completed by this Friday, Juneteenth, which commemorates the end of slavery in the United States about 3 years after Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation.
All throughout history, art always leads the charge of the change in communities and in society. And we just advocate as not only a Black creative, but a creative period, that this city understands and starts the overdue dialogue of the place that art has in the community.
Marsh says initially the tribute mural started as a way to give Black artists a platform to share their feelings about their experiences in the days following George Floyd's death. He painted some of the murals downtown and felt the need to have a voice in this conversation.
These marginalized artists who couldn't get their artwork up into galleries were forced to paint that way. And now they are the hottest ticket in the art world. And so now they get more opportunities.
Marsh says this was especially important following the vandalism and looting that happened during the first weekend of protests, when a largely peaceful demonstration turned violent. He said the artwork on boarded up businesses was designed to bring the community together.
When our downtown could have looked like a ghost town boarded up, it was art that came to the rescue and made it vibrant to where creative tourism then took hold. And not only the creative tourism, but other cities followed our lead. So you had Raleigh and Charlotte, who then also started to paint their boarded up storefronts. And again, that is just the power of art.
And Marsh wants all of us to see that same power in the One Love mural, which again should be finished by Friday if the weather cooperates. Marsh is giving us a sneak peek of what it will look like. You can find that information and more details on our website, WFMYnews2.com. Stay with us. The 4 to 5 will be right back.
All right, what am I talking about? Oh yeah, telling people politely no during a pandemic may not be as easy as you think.
Welcome back to your 4 to 5. With the stay-at-home order lifted, some are ready to get out and about. Others, however, are more comfortable staying put during the pandemic. And if that is you, someone who wants to stay inside right now, you're certainly not alone. Cases in our state of coronavirus are still rising. Some people aren't ready to be around other people. And that's why we're talking to Blanca Cobb this afternoon. Ways to say no if you're invited out, but you're uncomfortable going. So Blanca, let's jump right in here. It seems like it should be easy, right, to say no to an invitation, but for some people it isn't, especially if the reason is related to the virus. So why is that?
Well, when it comes to the virus, it is very controversial, right? Whether people should wear masks, not wear masks. People believe in social distancing where others don't. People like to be around people who wear masks, and other people don't like to be around people who wear masks. So it's all that controversy. And so when you say no, you don't want to offend. And because, as I said, that controversy, it could be interpreted as if you're saying something about the other person's decision to want to get together. So you don't want to get grilled about your decision, and sometimes it's easier just to make an excuse than to be forthright.
Yeah, but you know, people might start asking you questions. Why don't you feel comfortable? Things of that nature. So is there a way that we can phrase our polite decline of that invitation so we can avoid getting bombarded with questions?
Yes, you can control the narrative better when you say no if you also give a short, quick reason. So for example, you might say, hey, I really appreciate the invitation. I can't wait to get back out, but I'm just not ready right now. I just feel a little weird about it. And just leave it alone. But whatever you say, make sure it's tactful and you have a smile on your face. If you actually see them or if you're on the telephone, just make sure you have a niceness to your voice.
What if you do get some pushback?
That's a tough one right there, because someone might say, oh, come on, I've been out already and no one's gotten sick. And if that happens, then you want to acknowledge what the other person says. So when someone feels acknowledged, when they feel like their point of view is validated, doesn't mean that you agree, but it's validated, more than likely they'll leave it alone. And then you can say, hey, I hear you. I'm glad you haven't gotten sick, but I'm just not quite there yet. But I will let you know when I'm ready to venture out. And just leave it at that.
Yeah, just be honest with the person. I asked people about this on my Facebook page, Blanca. Everyone who said that they would RSVP no or decline an invitation had a really good reason for not wanting to go out just yet. So thank you for that insight. By the way, you can connect with Blanca, continue this conversation with her on her Facebook page. Just search Blanca Cobb, body language expert.
Turning now to reopening that is continuing around the world. Cinemas in Italy now have the green light to welcome back moviegoers. The country is still easing restrictions to slow COVID-19 spread. Theaters opened with new safety measures. Audience members have to leave 2 seats between each person. Face masks are required in communal areas, but people don't have to wear them while watching the movie. Employees are also cleaning busy areas more often. Meantime, movie theaters in North Carolina are expected to be allowed under Phase 3 of reopening. We haven't heard an official date just yet from Governor Cooper, but it could be as soon as June 26th. Still, theaters say they'll wait to welcome guests. AMC is looking to open cinemas across the nation sometime in July, and Regal Cinema's website says they'll open July 10th. And speaking of movies, filming for some highly anticipated films will start back up next month. Jurassic World Dominion will start filming again July 6th in the UK. COVID-19 halted pre-production for the film back in March. Universal Studios says it's implementing new safety procedures on set. Other films starting production again in the UK are the new Batman movie and the next movie in the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them series.
As we keep track on the coronavirus and its impact on our everyday lives, how are we feeling about the situation? You know, I wanted to check in, with this virus and with you to see how it's changing your life. And we're talking specifically masks. Do you wear them? Do you see people wearing them? Join the conversation on the WFMY News 2 live stream, and we'll continue it on the other side of the break.
Welcome back, everybody. The sogginess continues. Still gray, still cold, and still wet also. Here's a look at your latest radar right now, which does show a good amount of rain across the Triad, especially as you look off to the west. I want to show you a futurecast. This whole setup is very odd, but it makes sense when you think about it. We have moisture moving in from the Atlantic. That's the rain part. The cool air, that's coming in from the north around high pressure, and the clouds are a result of both of those things. So it's cloudy, cool, and wet, and it's stubborn and not moving much. So tonight, same thing. Still some nearly constant rainfall, but into tomorrow we go. That low pressure area is going to start to move a little bit, and that'll break things down ever so slightly by Wednesday afternoon, and then by Thursday we're actually into a more typical summertime day where we'll have breaks of sunshine and the occasional shower or storm. For tonight, temperature steady, still a lot of rain, and it really is quite wet all the way through midday Wednesday. By tomorrow afternoon, if you're lucky, you probably do see a couple of peaks of sunshine. Looking at the 7-day forecast, look at the warming trend. We'll be near 90 degrees by Father's Day.
Looking forward to a break in that rain, Tim. Thank you. A coronavirus model used by the White House now predicts more than 200,000 Americans could die of COVID-19 by October 1st. That's up more than 30,000 deaths since last week. Manuel Bojorquez reports from Miami, where infections are on the rise.
Now is not a time to let your guard down.
Miami Mayor Francis Suarez put the next phase of his city's reopening on hold.
We are seeing an uptick, particularly in the age demographic 18 to 35, and particularly after Memorial Day weekend.
Statewide, about 12,000 Floridians have tested positive over the last 7 days.
Most likely we're going to start to see an increase in the hospitals.
June Ellis works for one of the state's largest public health systems.
What is the situation like at Jackson Health right now?
We have started to see an increase again in our COVID positive patients.
Since June 1st, hospitalizations have risen in at least 11 states, including Texas, which reported more than 2,300 hospitalizations, a record high for the 7th time in 8 days. And 20 states reported increases in their average new COVID-19 cases compared to 2 weeks ago.
So many people.
At the White House, President Trump attributed the rise in cases to an increase in testing.
That's probably the downside of having good testing, is you find a lot of cases that other countries who don't even test don't have.
But in several states, data show that's not entirely true, according to Professor Wade Fagan-Olmschneider, a computer scientist at the University of Illinois.
The data comes directly from Johns Hopkins, and it doesn't do any projection at all. Even though we're seeing the same or sometimes even more testing, the number of positive cases we're seeing in those regions is actually increasing at a rate far exceeding the number of tests increasing.
Manuel Bojorquez, CBS News, Miami.
Taking a look at case numbers here in North Carolina, state leaders say a record high number of people are now fighting the virus in the hospital. 829 people are currently in the hospital in our state with coronavirus. That is the highest number we've seen since the state started collecting this data. We also topped 45,000 confirmed cases in the state and have seen more than 650,000 tests. More than 1,100 people have died because of the virus. And Tahisha, these numbers are certainly impacting the way people are living now.
Right, and specifically masks, Maddie, because, you know, a lot of people are seeing those numbers and saying, okay, what can I do to protect myself and others? So one way is masks, and the CDC does recommend that everyone wear masks when they are out in public. So I asked you all on Facebook today, what are you seeing in terms of masks? Are people still wearing them? Let's get into some of the comments here. Maury Kennedy says, I just flew to and from Florida, and less than half on the plane were wearing them, even less than half in the airport. Anna says, I wear one at work and when I'm out in public. I still see a lot of people not wearing them or wearing them wrong. Carol says, mask wearers are out early. As the day goes by, less and less are wearing. This from Texas. Ken Woods writes, seeing fewer masks when I go out, I wear mine and only interact with those doing the same. And lastly, Michelle writes, I wear a mask and I see a lot not wearing one and not respecting my personal space. Then look at me crazy when I ask them to back up. So clearly here on my Facebook page, the consensus is a lot of people out and about not wearing masks from what they can tell. Again, join this conversation on our Facebook live stream or even on YouTube and let us know what are you seeing in relation to masks out and about. We've got a lot more news coming up in the next hour, half hour of the 4 to 5. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Hello, mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mic check.
Hey, top of 4:30. Hey, Facebook friends, how's it going? On Tuesday, the rain stopped outside of my window here.
Hey Tim, can we get a mic check for the top of the 4:30?
Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4 to 5, second half hour.
Good afternoon and welcome back to your 4 to 5. I'm Maddie Gardner, joined by Tahisha Moise and Ben Smart today. We are so glad you're with us. We are here to connect you, inform you, and let you in on our world. Stay connected with us throughout the show.
Drop us a comment if you are watching right now live on Facebook. You can use our hashtag 4 to 5 to stay connected. Let's get you updated right now on your 4 to 5 roundup. About an hour ago, Governor Roy Cooper announcing more money is on the way to local health departments for coronavirus response efforts. $35 million in federal money will be divided up by county size and the number of coronavirus cases there. The money will support things like staffing, testing, and contact tracing. More drive-up testing is now available in the Triad as Governor Roy Cooper calls for more federal help with testing. Today, testing started happening at the Madison Mayadon Public Library. The drive-up test will be offered every Tuesday and Thursday from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Testing is free and offered on a first-come, first-served basis. Tonight, a vote is scheduled about a new development in Jamestown. The Jamestown Town Council is set to vote on zoning for the new proposed 467-acre development. Some residents are upset that tonight's vote will happen during a virtual meeting and during the coronavirus pandemic. The proposed development would contain apartments, retail shops, and some green space. Today, the SKYBRIDGE in Gatlinburg, Tennessee is back open after a guest cracked one of the glass panels. Officials say one of the guests was not following the rules and attempted to do a baseball slide across the glass skywalk. A piece of metal on the guest's clothes then chipped the top layer of glass. The 680-foot pedestrian bridge is made up of 3 layers of glass. Officials say no guests were in danger during the incident, and the bridge has since been fixed and is back open again.
Tim, I gotta say the rain looks peaceful when you are looking at it from the inside. Not so much for getting work done when you're working from home.
No, it's not motivating. That's true. And if you go outside, it might look like a little drizzle, but when you step outdoors, it's kind of aggressive. It's really coming at you with a bit of a breeze also. Here's a live look over Greensboro. Doesn't that look appetizing? A good amount of cloud cover. It's cold, and there is rain on our weather camera currently. Temperatures across the entire Piedmont are the coldest they've ever been at this time of day on June 16th. Back to our record-keeping days, all the way going back to 1903. This is the coolest June 16th that we have found. Rain continues, and it will stay that way through the evening and into tomorrow also. Some on-again, off-again showers are very likely, and occasionally it could come down a little bit heavier. Right now, not as heavy in Guilford or Alamance or Randolph counties, but you look farther out to the west, it is coming down pretty darn hard in Davie County near Moxville. Similar story for Rowan County, and that has been where we've seen the most rain so far today. Breaks in the action as you look farther off to the east, but still, we're going to have mist around, a good amount of rain tonight into tomorrow morning and into the midday hours on Wednesday. If you're looking to maybe see some peaks of sunshine, I don't have that for us until perhaps tomorrow afternoon. That's going to be a possibility. The best chance to get wet on Wednesday is the morning and the midday, but by the end of the day, we should be able to get a little bit more scattered with our rainfall, and that's the way that it'll stay as we go throughout the rest of the week. For the meantime, more of the same. Clouds, rain, and cold. Temperatures in the 50s. For tomorrow, though, we will warm into the mid and upper 60s.
Well, summer is on the way, and that means travel and vacation season is too. So once you decide where you're going, is it safer to drive there or fly there? Let's connect the dots. As the weather heats up, many people are now wondering about summer vacations. But as coronavirus numbers continue to go up in several states, what's safer, driving or flying? Let's connect the dots. The short answer on this one is that neither option is 100% safe right now. The coronavirus pandemic is still cause for concern, and there are a lot of things to keep in mind as you make decisions. As one infectious disease expert told CNN, your travel risks at this point depend a lot more on the personal choices of the traveler rather than the type of travel. When it comes to driving to your destination, the risk includes stops to eat, drink, use the restroom, and sleep. But there are some benefits. When you drive, you have more control over who is in your environment. And even though you'll have to make pit stops, you can limit interactions, choosing drive-through instead of dine-in, and using gloves and wipes for any bathroom breaks. But the longer that drive gets, the more interactions you'll have. When it comes to flying, you have a lot less control over your fellow passengers. While airlines have implemented new safety procedures, you don't know if the traveler in 2A has been practicing social distancing or using a face mask. Also, enforcement of safety procedures inside airports and airplanes has been uneven. But for travel over long distances and with proper precaution, it could mean less exposure. Either way, before you decide what's best, you'll need to weigh the risks and benefits of traveling right now. So if you're getting on an airplane, you are going to be asked to wear a mask. And now some airlines may even ban you from traveling if you refuse to put one on. So this brings us back to our question of the day, which is, where should masks be required? While you vote, let's explain with the latest airlines. United says those who refuse to wear a mask will be put on a restricted travel list for 60 days. Now, there are some health exceptions to the rule, and everyone on board will be offered a mask if they don't have one. Other major airlines are expected to make a similar announcement soon. So right now, we want you to go to WFNY.com/vote-now or the free News 2 app to let us know where you think masks should be required or if they should be required at all.
Yeah, keep voting, and let's take a look at those results right now. So it looks like almost 70% of you say they should be required everywhere, and about a third of you say nowhere. So this is a pretty polarizing topic here. People have strong opinions about this, and the CDC does recommend you wear a mask if you're in a place where keeping that social distance is difficult. So we want you to keep voting right now on WFNY.com/vote now or in our News 2 app.
$42 million. That's how much money in fraud the FBI is looking into. The agency says that scammers are taking advantage of small businesses trying to apply for loans through the Paycheck Protection Program. Now, if that's you or someone you know, socialcatfish.com has 4 scams that you need to be aware of. Scam. Scammers will email you claiming to be with the Small Business Administration. They will try to get you to click a link that will infect your device with a virus. Next is the robocall scam. We all know this one. You'll get a call from someone claiming to be with the SBA, asking you to verify your information. Kevin Hinterberger with the Better Business Bureau says those 2 scams are very common.
So if you receive a phone call, email, or a text or anything like that, any type of communication, that's a huge red flag that somebody is trying to scam you out of some money or your information.
A third scam to keep on your radar is the fake fees and fast money scam. Basically, you'll get contacted by someone saying if you want to fast track a PPP loan, you just have to pay a fee, or you have to pay a fee to get the loan to begin with.
Anytime somebody's asking you to give them money in advance for processing a loan, that's just one of the biggest red flags out there.
And lastly, there is the fake lender scam, someone posing as a credible lender who will give you an application to fill out. So here are some important things to keep in mind. 1, the SBA will never email or call you out of the blue asking you to apply for a loan. They also won't call you to verify information. And you can only get a PPP loan through an approved lender. You can search for approved lenders on the SBA's website. Now, I will link you to the SBA search tool in this story on our website. Just search Paycheck Protection Program scams.
We want to update you now on some crime news in the Triad. Greensboro police are investigating a deadly shooting and searching for whoever killed a 21-year-old woman. Officers were called to Trent Street just after 1 o'clock this morning and found Brianna Nicole Smith. Police say she had been shot and died because of her injuries. At this time, no suspect information has been released. If you know anything about this shooting, call Crime Stoppers. That phone number is 336-373-1000. 2 people are now in custody charged with concealing a death after police say they were seen on camera moving a body. Back on May 30th, police found Joel Thomas Shaw dead in an apartment stairwell on Elm Street. A cause for his death has not been determined at this time. During the investigation, police obtained surveillance video of the apartment. They say in the video, 19-year-old Tony Rivera is seen carrying Shaw out of the apartment along with 52-year-old Bryant Hairston. Both were arrested and charged with concealment of a death along with other drug charges.
Still ahead, can you ask Siri to start recording if you're ever pulled over by police? It's a shortcut that's quickly gone viral on the internet. We're going to verify if that works when the 4 to 5 returns. A viral post claims that iPhone users who are pulled over by police can say a key phrase to Siri and the phone will automatically start recording the interaction and then send it to your emergency contact. Well, many of you reached out and asked us if this is real, so our Verify team dug into it.
There are a lot of posts and viral videos that talk about an iPhone shortcut to use if you get pulled over.
So all you have to do is say, "Hey Siri, I'm being pulled over," and it's going to initiate 18 different actions at one time.
According to these posts, your phone will automatically send your location to an emergency contact and automatically start a video recording. Now, a few of you asked us to check this out, so we're verifying. Can my iPhone record video and my location if I say I'm getting pulled over? Well, for the first test, we just tried asking Siri. Hey Siri, I'm getting pulled over. So no, it's not automatically built into your phone. But these videos aren't being faked. This is a real thing. You just have to install it first. It's done through an app called Shortcuts. Now that's an Apple-created app that is already on your iPhone. Shortcuts basically lets you program your phone to do basic tasks. It took me about a minute to make a command myself. Hey Siri, record for me. Now she's recording video. The viral shortcut is called Police. It was shared by a Reddit user in 2018. When you tell Siri, I'm getting pulled over, it turns down your volume, lowers your brightness, sends your location to an emergency contact, starts recording video, and uploads that video to your iCloud account. So does it work? Hey Siri, I'm getting pulled over. Yes, it automatically turned on my camera and sent my location to my work phone, which I set as the emergency contact. So we can verify. iPhones can record video and my location if I say I'm getting pulled over, but it is not automatically built in. You do have to install that specific shortcut. Now again, this isn't a new program or app, it's just instructions for your iPhone. And it lets you choose which contacts, if any, that it will send information to. This doesn't work on Android phones, but iPhone users can find a link for how to install this on our website. And if you have other questions like this, make sure you send us an email. With your Verify, I'm Jason Puckett.
As Jason just mentioned, you know, this program isn't new. I actually did a story on this back on 2018 after that Reddit user first went viral. So when I talked with this feature with the Greensboro Police Department, they said as long as it doesn't interfere with the safety of the stop, that there wouldn't be an issue. Here are other tips that I think you really should keep in mind if you plan on using this setting. Number one is making sure your phone is up to date with the latest updates. Be sure to test the feature and play with the setting ahead of time, and also have a mount in your car, a phone mount. It will make using the feature easier.
All right, the rain continues across the area. It all has to do with this low pressure area still sitting overhead. It's not moving yet, but it will make some progress tomorrow and especially by Thursday. Until then, well, we're stuck with more of this. Cloud cover, rain, and yes, the cold air as well. It's all coming in from the ocean, so rounds of this rain will continue, especially tonight into tomorrow morning and the midday. It should start to ease up a little bit by Wednesday afternoon into tomorrow night, and especially on Thursday. That could be when you get some breaks of sunshine, but not until then. In the meantime, plan on an additional 1 to 3 inches of rainfall by Thursday into Friday. Some localized flooding is possible, but not totally likely for many of us. Here's your planner for tomorrow. Steady rain in the morning, breaks in the action for the afternoon and evening. Hopefully we get up into the upper 60s. That's about 10 degrees warmer than today. Your 7-day forecast, a big warming trend for Father's Day. Will be close to 90 by that weekend. That's your forecast.
Here is a reason to smile and get reading this summer. So the High Point Library, they know that school is out and summer is going to look a bit different for kids, but they still want them to spend time reading. So they got a little help from the hit Journey song, Don't Stop Believing, to get kids excited.
Just a library, trying to get our folks to read. My wife and I often sing little parodies to one another. Just a little melody here and there. So one day while I was out walking my dogs, the line, "Don't stop your reading," came to me. Don't stop your reading. This is, I don't know, probably my 10th video at this point. And each one I've used as an opportunity to learn something new. And same thing with music. This is actually the first song I've ever produced in my music studio, which is my closet, of course, with a microphone. Community is the heart of the library. Usually we're a place of refuge and safety in times of crisis, but right now the safest thing we could do is close our doors and encourage social distancing. So it became a question of how do we offer essential services at a time like this? The library staff have been working incredibly hard to shift to video and email and phone calls and try to do everything behind the scenes that we would normally be doing in public. And so I knew that this kind of resonated with what we're trying to do as we're building community, but at the same time having to do it in an entirely new way.
Another creative way libraries want to keep people reading this summer is by going mobile. The Rockingham County Public Library set up its bookmobile at the Eden Walmart today. People could stop by and pick up books they put on hold and also use some free Wi-Fi. Tomorrow the bookmobile will be at the Reedsville Walmart from 9 until 3, and then on Thursday it will be at the Mayodan Walmart.
And we want to honor another round of graduates now. The usual pomp and circumstance has changed for the class of 2020 because of the pandemic, but we can still celebrate their accomplishments with some senior shout outs. First up is Marcus Poole. He graduated from Northeast Guilford High School. Marcus will be attending barber school after graduation. His family says he also hopes to learn the business side of barbering and open his own shop one day. Up next, Chloe Boland. She graduated from High Point University with a degree in exercise science. And she's not done with school. She's heading to graduate school at University of Lynchburg for a doctorate in physical therapy. Congratulations to those seniors. And if you want to share a senior shout out with us, find the submission form on our website. Submit photos of your senior, but not the professional ones. And we hope to see you again.
Still ahead on WFMY News 2 at 5, as the conversation surrounding mandatory mask wearing grows louder, one group is pushing back. Reopen NC is calling on people to burn their masks. A look at the growing viral movement to ditch the precaution health experts say slows down the spread of coronavirus at 5. Hello, mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right. A spokesperson for Gilbarco Vadera Route could only confirm that a small number of employees here at the Green.
Hey, mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mic check, mic check, mic check.
Okay, mic check. I can't hear you yet because we're on Maddie's IFB, so we had to wait. Hello, hello, hello. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Live in downtown Greensboro. Okay.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Hey, mic check, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2.
It's time for my 2 cents. When I was in middle school, I cut my bangs straight across. I thought it really complimented my mouth full of braces, I guess. Needless to say, it was not a good look for me, but at the time, I thought it was perfect. Looking back, I definitely learned my lesson, and from here on out, I will never cut bangs like that again. Now, I tell you that silly story to touch on a serious and far more important topic. Opinions change, humans grow. We listen and we learn, and all of that is more important than ever right now. Just because you felt one way in the past or thought about something from a particular side doesn't mean you have to feel or think that way forever. This is happening right now. We see it on a national scale. Just take a look at the NFL. 6 months ago, Commissioner Roger Goodell said the league had moved on from former 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick, known for kneeling during the national anthem to protest racial injustice. This week, in light of recent events, Goodell said he'd like to see Kaepernick back in the NFL and encouraged a team to sign him. Now, I'm not here to comment on Kaepernick's protest or Goodell's decision and whether I agree or disagree with any of it, but I use this as an example to illustrate the point that Goodell's mind was changed. Something in the last 6 months caused him to think differently. The beauty of our nation is that we're entitled to our own opinions. But what's also beautiful is that we're allowed to change those opinions as time moves on and we learn more, hear different perspectives, and see things in a new way. That's my 2 cents, and that's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
Our health experts are looking at those same studies showing the effectiveness of cloth face coverings. We want people voluntarily to do this, but we are looking at additional rules to